Hello, and welcome to the Alton Bay Camp Meeting Association, a Christ-centered community where generations have gathered to live, worship, and grow in faith beside the beautiful shores of Lake Winnipesaukee. At Alton Bay, each cottage is privately owned, but the land itself belongs to the association. All property within our grounds is considered community land, meaning your cottage exists within a shared Christian environment where every resident has both privileges and responsibilities. Your permission to occupy a cottage is granted through what's called a tenancy at will. This is not a land lease. It allows you to live on association grounds as long as you remain in good standing with the community. Because the land is owned collectively, all areas of the campground are shared spaces, a true reflection of Christian community life. Tenancy at will also means that tenancy may be revoked at any time for any reason or no reason at all. Although the wording is harsh, we have this wording to protect the campground from a legal perspective. We do not look to terminate tenancy unless there is a reason to invoke this clause, and those reasons are few and far between. We believe our relationship is built on mutual trust, shared faith, and a collective desire to honor Christ in how we live together. Tenancy is reviewed every 5 years unless there's a reason for the association to review it sooner. During this process, we compare your original tenancy application with your current involvement. Are you active in your church? Are you engaged in life at Alton Bay? Do your actions reflect the spiritual and communal values of this ministry? These reviews help ensure that our fellowship continues to represent the faith and mission that define who we are. In order to help you on your journey through this process, we will start with introducing you to the tenancy page. The tenancy page brings all of your required materials together in one convenient location. Each tab on this page walks you through a specific part of the process, from reviewing our community policies to submitting your application and references. Take your time and complete each section in the order it is presented before submitting your materials. You can at any time exit the application and come back to complete it at a later date. The system will remember where you are and will immediately send you a reminder email to finish the application in the future. To start the new tenant application process, navigate to the new Tenant Information and Required Reading tab. This section includes important background information and policies that every tenant must review before applying. You'll find in this Required Reading section documents covering our history, cottage policies, year-round residency guidelines, maintenance and upkeep expectations, outdoor cooking, washing machine use, heating systems, smoking and vaping, and much more. After you've read and understood these documents, you will return to the main page for the tenancy application. On the tenancy application form itself, you will find a box that you will need to check that acknowledges that you did read and review all of the documents in the new Tenant Information and Required Reading tab. You will now proceed to the Tenancy Application tab. Here you'll provide your personal and contact information, cottage details, and upload any requested documentation. As mentioned above, this form also includes the acknowledgement checkbox confirming that you've read and understood the materials in the new Tenant Information and Required Reading section. When completing your application, be sure to include your application payment, membership fee, and uploaded purchase and sale agreement. Once your complete application packet has been received, the Executive Director, Secretary, and Executive Committee will review your materials and schedule an interview, typically within 30 to 45 days. The interview may be conducted in person or via Zoom, depending on availability. After the interview, the Executive Committee and the Executive Director will meet to discuss your application and recommendation. Within about a week, you'll be notified whether tenancy has been granted. In order to keep the process moving, and while you are working on your portion of the application, instruct your pastor and your 3 evangelical Christian references to access our website so that they can start filling their portion out on your behalf. They can do this by visiting the Pastor Questionnaire and Christian Reference Questionnaire tabs right here on the tenancy page. Each form can be downloaded, completed, and submitted electronically. Once submitted, these forms are automatically distributed to the Executive Director, Secretary, and Executive Committee for review as part of your application process. Since we do live in community, there are several yearly expenses associated with community living at Alton Bay. Every tenant pays an annual tenant fee, which helps maintain our shared facilities, ministries, and infrastructure. In addition, there is a yearly membership fee either by couple or individual which supports the broader ministry of the Alton Bay Camp Meeting Association and your participation as a member of this Christian community. If you have a boat dock or jet ski dock, there are separate annual fees for those as well. The waiting lists for both are long. Currently, it can take 5 years or more before a space becomes available. However, once your cottage purchase is complete, you may request to be added to those lists. We also expect and strongly encourage all cottage owners to be active participants in the life of this community, attending worship services, community gatherings, and events throughout the season. Purchasing a cottage here is not simply buying a vacation home. It's entering into a fellowship of believers who come together to be refreshed in the Lord and to serve alongside one another. This community is not intended for those seeking to purchase a cottage solely for rental purposes. While we understand that there may be seasons of life, such as career transitions, early start times for schools, or retirement preparation, when renting your cottage temporarily is necessary, our goal is to welcome those who desire to personally engage in the ministry and life of Alton Bay for many weeks of the summer season. Because Alton Bay is a closed Christian community, there are several important restrictions to understand that we all live by and embrace. Advertising or listing your cottage for sale or rent on any third-party websites, including Redfin, Realtor.com, Zillow, VRBO, or Airbnb, is strictly prohibited. All rentals and sales must be posted exclusively through the association's website, ensuring that all transactions remain consistent with the values of our faith-based community. The association does not facilitate the sale of cottages. The listings are strictly for advertising purposes. It is your responsibility to determine the price, terms, and timing of any sale and to respond directly to all inquiries. You can see how this looks by visiting the Cottages for Rent, Cottages for Sale section on our website. Please also note that any future purchaser must go through and successfully complete the same tenancy approval process you are completing now. Cottages cannot simply be transferred to a family member without approval. While you may place your cottage in a trust, the person receiving the property through that trust or through inheritance must be able to pass the tenancy review and requirements. If the person inheriting or receiving the cottage cannot pass tenancy, the cottage must be sold within 1 year of the transfer. If a sale is not completed within that 1-year time frame, the association reserves the right to purchase the cottage at its assessed town value. Additionally, no individual or family is permitted to own more than one cottage at a time. If you decide to purchase another cottage, you must sell your current one within 1 year of acquiring the new property. Finally, please be aware that financing can be challenging. Because cottage ownership does not include land ownership or a land lease, most banks will not issue traditional mortgages for these properties. Purchases are typically handled through cash transactions or private financing arrangements. Well, there you have it. A complete guide to achieving tenancy at the Alton Bay Camp Meeting Association. We would like to personally thank you for taking the time to understand our tenancy at will process and for your interest in becoming part of the Alton Bay Camp Meeting Association family. For more than 160 years, Alton Bay has been a place of rest, reflection, and renewal, a place where God's presence is felt and faith is lived out daily. If you have any questions about the application process, please don't hesitate to contact our office and speak with either the Executive Director or Campground Secretary at 603-875-6161. We're here to joyfully guide you through every step of the process. Welcome home to Alton Bay.